Spider-Man's home. I hardly ever do this without other people around, but I had to stop everything to come in and talk about this. And welcome everybody. I'm not going to be here long. A lot of people have been out there getting emails and getting text messages from their friends, family even, saying, guess what happened? Spider-Man's back. Isn't that great? Aren't you happy? Aren't you excited? And for me, the answer is, hell no, I'm not excited. Have y'all learned nothing from what just happened? Have we not observed the events that just went down and how they went down? And just because of a headline, y'all already just throw all that concern away and act like everything is just fine. It's not. Hell no, I'm not happy. Yeah, I open up with a song and everything, and I led you astray with what I was just doing with the singing and the dancing and the, No, I'm not happy. I mean, it's better than what we had before, but no. I do this stream with several other co-hosts, one of them being a guy by the name of Christopher Juicy Herman. It was just like I was talking to him yesterday. But I was just talking to him, and I said, it does more harm to both studios if they don't work this out. Sure. And I don't think that they're going to walk away from this with Sony, carrying Spider-Man and Marvel or Disney's left empty-handed. It don't make any sense. What we're going to do in this stream, and believe me, I had to stop everything to come in and talk about this nonsense because everybody was asking me, hey, you got to get on and say something. It's been a long time since you come on and done these special streams. And the reason why they're special is because I only do this when I absolutely need to talk about something. And this is something to talk about right here. So we're going to talk about, it's not going to be long, but we're going to talk about why this is a good thing, of course, but also why we should all be precautious about this. We should not all be going out dancing in the street, saying hallelujah, he's home again. This is still nothing to get overly excited about. First of all, I need to come in and let all y'all know that, listen, I'm just as happy as anybody else that this is going on. I loved, and I appreciate it more every day. You start looking up news on how deep they went with this movie, Far From Home.
You gonna be the next Iron Man now?
Well, no, I don't have time. I'm too busy doing your jobs.
Bitch. Still makes me mad. He's a little smart ass like that, but that's what the character is. But they did so much with this. They did so much with this movie. They're still finding secrets out today. People are still finding little Easter eggs and little visual cues as to what was happening in the story. If you go and watch this, you'll see how today they're still digging up how there are characters in the background that were watching Spider-Man or Peter Parker while he was on vacation the whole time. So I appreciate what they've done here. That's one of the reasons why I think that they had to find something to work to work this deal out, or this situation out. But speaking of this situation and working out a deal, even though I'm happy about this, I really am at the point where I'm saying, first of all, Disney, Sony, I don't care who's right, I don't care who's wrong. Get y'all shit together. Sony and Disney, they're starting to become like that arguing couple that people hate. It's because they're always fighting in front of you. They're always arguing. And then people are happy, like, good. I'm glad they're not together. I don't have to hear that shit anymore. And then all of a sudden you're on Facebook or Instagram and then you see a message, me and Peter are back together again. I remember when I was a kid. And my parents used to argue all the time. They just couldn't get it worked out. Now, they stayed together, but I remember walking in the middle of the room and I'm like, shit, why don't y'all just get divorced? You're driving me to a point where I really don't care anymore because y'all keep going back and forth. I tell you what, Sony, just take them and let Disney have them on the weekends. Let them have, not full custody or whatever. I don't care. I'm getting to be at this point where it's just like, all right, I feel y'all just playing us now. Get your shit together, man. With this news that we just got about them getting back together, I have to say that while I was pessimistic about it, when they were saying that, they couldn't get anything worked out, I'm not surprised, and I said this before, I'm not surprised that they got Spider-Man back into the MCU. That doesn't surprise me one bit, because you have a character, you have Peter Parker, Spider-Man, where he has left such an imprint on the MCU. He's just dug too deep. Like I said, how appropriate for the character. Oh, what a tangled web he has weaved at this point. There's just too much history with this character in the MCU that fans depend on for either one of these parties to walk away, especially Disney or Marvel. I mean, think about Infinity War. Infinity War, it was not only the impact that he left there actively, but it was a huge emotional impact, probably one of the biggest emotional impacts that the Marvel history has ever seen.
Start? I don't feel so good. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Start, please. Please, I don't want to go. I don't want to go.
You mean to tell me we just gonna wipe that clean? And fans are gonna sit back and just act like that's okay? Well, in due time, probably. But for right now, you mean to tell me we are just going to just forget that? Act like that never happened? Or we can't reference it anymore? Because of some little petty ass deal y'all can't get worked out? There's no way that they were gonna walk. There was too much at stake. There's no way they're gonna walk away from that. There's no way that they're gonna leave this on a cliffhanger. That daring, crazy cliffhanger that they took a chance on that, knowing that this would be something to expand upon in the next movie. It's not like they can just walk away from not only a huge cliffhanger that asks a lot of questions, but pay probably one of the biggest pieces of fan service.
Here's the real blockbuster. Brace yourselves, you might want to sit down.
Spider-Man's name is Peter Parker.
What the Say it, Peter, what the And the reason why it's one of the biggest, because who would have predicted? Like, everybody thought that, because Sony had this character, who would have thought that they would have got J. Jonah Jameson back? Not only the character, but turning his ass into Alex Jones. And as much as I hate Alex Jones, that's pretty badass right there, I gotta admit. You mean to tell me you just gonna push the table away and said, no. You just gonna walk away from that? I doubt it. I never thought that they would completely be able to walk away from this. So yes, it's great to have this deal done. It's great to have them back. If nothing else, we got one more movie with Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, and one more reference within the MCU, or one more appearance. At least that's what I've come to understand. I'm going to talk to you guys in the chat in a little bit to see where you fall in with all of this and get your opinions on it, and see if if I'm full of shit on anything, you'll happily let me know. But it's great to have. It's going to be great to see the conclusion, at least, of this story arc. It's awesome. I'm very happy about it. Believe me, I was jumping on my bed this morning when I heard it. Woke up in my Spider-Man footy pajamas and everything, man. It couldn't have been more appropriate. But let me tell you what I'm worried about here, and why we all should be worried. Listen, and this is what I felt before. When the whole thing happened, where discussions and negotiations fell apart between Marvel or Disney and Sony, I said, I always feared this because Sony has the upper hand. And as long as Sony has the upper hand in this situation, I will always be worried. As long, let me just put up what Kevin Feige said himself. As long as Sony has the upper hand, there will be complications. You hear what I'm saying? You're not safe. Spider-Man ain't safe. And to show you what I'm talking about, let's look at the very words Kevin Feige himself, Mr. Marvel Cinematic Universe himself said. I'm looking at this on comicbook.com, but there's a lot of places that you could probably find this quote from him. Starts out cool enough. I am thrilled that Spidey's journey in the MCU will continue. And I and all of us at Marvel Studios are very excited that we get to keep working on it, said Feige. Spider-Man is a powerful icon and hero whose story crosses all ages and audiences around the globe. Now, here's where we get down to the real shit. Here's where things get kind of shady. Here's the words I don't like. This is what makes me worried. He also happens to be the only hero with the superpower to cross cinematic universes. So as Sony continues to develop their own Spiderverse, you never know what surprises the future may hold. I don't want those fucking surprises. You can keep those surprises. I don't need it. I've had plenty of surprises with you guys. That's good. I don't need any more. Thank you. The only surprises I need from you are the ones that you do with Spider-Man, the goddamn Marvel Cinematic Universe. Outside of that, I don't need any more Sony surprises. I don't need Sony pop out of a cake talking about surprise. I don't need that shit. Because the shit's probably going to explode next. I don't need it. And I'll tell you why. Because this whole thing they're talking about, now I know Kevin Feige, what he has to do, he's got to be diplomatic. You know, it's business. They worked out a deal. No one can bad talk each other. Sony did something to where oh shit! Amapy, thank you. That's what Spider-Man's saying to Sony right now. Get your hands off me! Ah! You know, let me tell you what probably happened here is that Sony worked out something with Disney and back and forth, and Disney had no choice but to say, as much as we don't want to do this, all right, we'll do what we want to with the character, and you do whatever you want to with this Spiderverse that you're doing. So you're ahead of me on this right now. I know. What you're thinking is that just like me right now, what you're thinking is that as long as there's that compromise there, Spider-Man can at any point pop up in the sequel to this.
Rolling down the street like a turd in the wind. We are Venom.
See, I know a lot of people really love this movie, and I have nothing against those people who do. We're talking about Venom. As long as Sony has the upper hand and they have this stipulation that they can put Spider-Man into the Spiderverse that they're working on, that means he could pop up in Venom 2 or any other kind of Spiderverse spinoff that they're doing. And I'm sorry, listen, nothing against the people that love Venom, okay? I'm a very mature person when it comes to this, as I sit in a room full of toys. But when it comes to respecting other people's opinion, it's just a movie. All right, I'm not gonna lose any sleep over this. We can agree to disagree. But you know good and goddamn well that Venom is not at the level of a Marvel movie. Come on now. I mean, I know it's all opinion and everything, and I can't prove that, and I'm not gonna even try. You know, people like what they like, but come on. Quality-wise, let's just look into your heart. Be real with yourself. You know, as much as you might like this movie, even love it, it ain't on the level of a Marvel Cinematic Universe film. And it's going to be kind of weird seeing Tom Holland pop between a Marvel movie and then going over to this, which we all know does not fit very well in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Everything will get messy when they do that. It's going to, timelines will get messy. Quality will get messy. You know, who's gonna be able to reference who? Are we gonna see goddamn Eddie Brock pop up and start talking to the Falcon or something? You know, I don't see anything good really coming out of this. I see if they were standing alone, maybe fine, but it just makes things jumbled and confusing if they start to have this dude hopping in between properties and studios. Not arguing what I feel personally about Venom. I'm just saying, from a marketing point of view, from a branding point of view, it's going to be very weird to see that. But I mean, it's not just Venom either. I'm not just harping on Venom. You know, they want to do this whole Spiderverse now. And honestly, I don't even know. I mean, at what point does that start to make things even more confusing? You know, they've already started work on this Morbius, the living vampire. You know, they're talking about doing a team up with Silver Sable and the Black Cat and other characters out there. They meant that and before some of these movies could even be proven, sure, Venom was a success. All right, again, regardless of what you feel about the film, it was a success. But all these other movies, they don't even have production on some of them yet. And they're already dropping more stuff that they want to put in there. They talking about this chick, what's her name? Oh, Madam Web, who is actually like a older woman who sits in a web, of electronics, giving aid to Spider-Man. Damn, look like she's in bondage or some shit. The problem here is that as long as Spider-Man is a marketable and successful character with the work that Marvel has put in, Sony's always going to see more value in that, and they're going to want a piece of the Spidey pie. They're going to want to bring that character in there. Solves the problem of why you're doing a Spiderverse if you don't have Spider-Man. As long as they have access to putting Spider-Man into a Spiderverse, with characters that just keep piling on because they want their own universe, then it's going to be a problem that I foresee. So cool, we get one more Spider-Man movie, that's great, and then we get an appearance or reference or something. I mean, call me greedy. I don't want that. They get to top some stories and whatnot, but I don't want that. I don't want, after that, what then? Then we really can't talk about the character anymore. He just disappears and goes off and does all this dumb shit with vampires and everything. And like I said, I'm greedy, but I want more than that. I want the peace of mind knowing that Spider-Man is there and can't nobody take him. That's what I want. Is there something wrong with that? If it is, then so be it. I'm wrong. I wish some of these rumors would just come true where they're talking about Apple buying Sony or Amazon, but please do this shit. Please, Sony wants to, from what I heard, these are just rumors. Sony wants to have a streaming service. They don't have their own. And maybe it's a little bit too crowded now to get into the streaming game. I mean, NBC just announced Peacock, and people like, f that Peacock. I got too many other things. I got Apples, and I'm living in the Amazon. I don't need a Peacock. So it's probably, a lot of stuff to compete with in that area. It's very crowded. So Sony might be better off, given their some of their theatrical division, our entertainment division, as far as movies and shows, giving that to another service that has their own streaming platform, which could be Apple or it could be Amazon, from what I understand. But what happens with that is if they are able to go in and buy the entertainment or movie television division of Sony, then Spider-Man goes back to Marvel completely. No visitations on the weekend. No, Disney gets full custody, and Sony can't come see their kid anymore. So That's kind of what I would love to happen in a perfect world. I will never sit up here and be satisfied with what is happening now. I will be happy for certain parts. I will be grateful for what I have. But honestly, I will not be satisfied. I will always be worried that anything can happen with this character. Shit, I don't even know if this will last. By the time I get ready to press the button to stop this stream, they probably already have to think deal is done. They couldn't, their deals fell apart again. Who knows? Sony being bitches again. Apple's, Disney says, I don't know. I don't know what's happening. I don't trust any of this. I guess it's time to go back and worry about climate change and things that really do matter. Because this shit, I don't know.